As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
This story came at someone requested this story, and Greg, if you're still in here, I know you wanted to talk about this, and it's another gaming acquisition, but maybe one that did not get as much attention as you know, the Bungie one. And the headline here is New York Times buys popular word game Wordle. The article goes on to talk about that the New York Times announced the purchase of the game on Monday. It's adding the puzzle to their portfolio of word games such as the crossword, the mini, and spelling bee. As of December 2021, the New York Times has over 1 million games subscriptions. I don't know if people pay for that, but Wordle will now play a part in that daily experience, giving millions more people around the world another reason to turn to the Times to meet their daily news and life needs. I listened to that. I read that quote earlier, and I was like, it sounds like their games have a larger audience than the actual, the actual magazine or actual newspaper. What's interesting is Wordle was released in October 2021, so literally 4 months from release to acquisition. I'm curious what this is not like hardcore gaming and esports business. I know lots of people who are fans of this Wordle. My question to you guys is, why would the New York Times have bought this? And if it's such a phenomenon, why wouldn't a King or a Zynga or any like hyper casual game maker not have picked up this IP themselves?
Oh, this fits in perfectly with the Times' other games, some of the ones that they just launched, particularly Spelling Bee. They've also seen more growth in gaming and cooking subscriptions than they have. And they still have more readership subscriptions, but they've seen more growth in those two segments over the past couple years.
I mean, Lindsay, I'm not debating that this this makes perfect sense for the New York Times. Perfect sense, right? I'm not debating that. But don't you think it would also make sense? It's considering the developer's only like 3 months old. The game's only 3 or 4 months old. I don't know what kind of price they paid. It's not in any of the articles I saw.
They said low single-digit millions.
Yeah, low single-digit millions.
But like that should have been an easy pickup for a Zynga or a King or any mobile game publisher that produces games like this in volume. Right? Why not pick this up and tuck this into your portfolio if you're one of these game developers?
It's a good point.
Jeff, I don't know if you thought.
Maybe they tried, and maybe New York Times just paid a little bit more. It actually makes a lot of sense for New York Times. I didn't realize they had this game subscription, and like it's funny. Like you could use the exact same analogy. Microsoft buying Call of Duty to beef up their game subscription. It's the same thing on a much, 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 much smaller scale, but it's the exact kind of game that the New York Times subscribers like. I also feel like it's got this weird, the demographic kind of works. Like I see a lot of the kind of blue check marks on Twitter, like, the kind of people that read the New York Times seem to all be playing Wordle. So I actually think it's a pretty decent demographic fit. Maybe one of the bigger companies didn't pick it up because it never really had a monetization model. And when you put it into a subscription, it works like it's an add-on. Maybe they only really need to get a few more subscribers or keep, increase the lifetime or the retention rate of some subscribers to make it pay back. Like we're not talking about them paying $30 million. We're talking about them paying probably like $4 million. So like you don't need heroic assumptions to like get a little bit of a lift there. So, maybe there's some people who play the game that aren't subscribers to New York Times. You can do some cross sells. Like it doesn't to me seem crazy, and good on this guy, whatever his name is, Josh Wardle, for $4 million, whatever the number is, for 4 months of work. Like kudos to him.
Oh, I'm pissed. I'm pissed that the Times bought it because I know it's not going to be free anymore, but I'm so happy for him that he just made this little game. He said he made it for himself. Like he said, I made it for an audience of one and just had fun with it and sold it for some single-digit million number.
Do we think he sold too soon? Because my initial reaction was, wow, good on this guy, like cashing out at the peak of, popularity. But like $4 million is not a lot, to Paul's point. Like, why couldn't Zynga come buy this for 20? If it has
I think
3 million players, like.
I think it's
Because,
a little bit too much of a fad for that, and I think he
Yeah.
probably got out at the right time.
Yeah. He had something super hot, fad. Someone offers him life-changing money, right? Like we could argue, it's not
He
a
lives
lot
in
of money.
Brooklyn,
Well,
$4 million. I don't know. That's not like you can't even buy an apartment. I don't know about that. $4 million in Brooklyn, not going to get you very far. Can't even pay off his mortgage.
Greg says, you do pay for the game subscription. Okay. Tom says, yes, Wordle is great. I got today's challenge in 3 steps.
I got it in 2. Beat you, Tom.
I wish I knew what both of you guys were talking about.
Oh my God, play it. It's so fun. So fun.
Tom says 3 million players for $1 million. We are worth 33 cents each. I don't know if it's a million. I think they said low. You guys said low single-digit millions, right? So call it, you're worth 33 cents to $1, roughly. Which I think, where else have we seen? It was Roblox it was what, like it was $100 per user, I think was the kind of valuation they were getting, right? They had $1,000.
Someone
right?
did an analysis where it was like they were looking at Roblox versus like Decentraland or one of them. It was either Sandbox or Decentraland was worth like $525,000 per monthly active player, like something like insane. Because I guess their token valuation is currently like 4 trillion, which, I mean, that's just if there's ever been a bubble, like that's definitely a bubble. I actually think I own it too, so I'm the idiot, but that's just ridiculous.
Go watch Meta Business, by the way. Go subscribe. It's a great show.
Yeah, you'll get all the hot takes like that. Great commentary.
Tom says, I think the strategy of increasing the length of subscription is right on the mark. Yeah, right. Like if they spend 2 or 3 million on this thing, you don't have to see a huge amount of growth or a huge increase in retention to justify that all day long. Kevin Koch says it's very replicable. True, but
I play like 4 different versions at this point. There's actually there's a math one that's super fun. Yeah.
What are the different versions? The words are specific to.
But doesn't this answer your question? Like cashing out too early? If he's already been knocked off like 5 ways to Sunday.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, might as well cash out now.
Did a great job. Yeah. Getting 4 million for something that a bunch of other people have already written. Like there's even one where you can actually adjust the length of a word. So I've tried to guess, they're typically 5-letter words. I've tried to guess 11-letter words. Like it's it's like 2048. If whoever made 2048 could have sold for 4 million, they definitely should have.
That's funny.
I don't even know what that is.
What?
Tom says nice. All right, guys. Let's. Any other thoughts on Wordle before I move on?
I love Wordle. We've Everyone share your Wordle scores with me. I will respond.
Here's a question. Very serious question. Was this a metaverse play? Is New York Times creating a metaverse?
Dipping their toes in the metaverse. No.
Very literary one.
Tom says, thanks, Lindsay. I'm off to play Primal after
I haven't even heard of that one. The number one I play is called Nerdle.
I remember when Lindsay was just playing.
Oh my God, they're not even trying with the knockoffs.
No.
What?
I'm going to look up Primal, though.
I remember when Lindsay used to just be playing her Goose Game. Or what was that game you would always talk about playing?
Untitled Goose Game. Such a good one.
The other one. There was some other one that you would always talk about.
I mean, I play a lot of Mario. I don't know.
Moving on.
Speaking of metaverses, I can tell you Wordle is not a metaverse. The New York Times not getting into the metaverse.